On Global Television News Express, President Tinubu rejects Library Trust Fund Bill over illegal concerns. In business, federal government sets to prioritize strategic infrastructure development. On the foreign scene, no ceasefire deal yet. Iran demands end to Israelis' illegal aggression. And in sports, WTT Lagos draws heavyweight with $100,000 prize. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Priscilla Obasi. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. You can also download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. Now the news in detail. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has withdrawn his asset to the National Assembly Library Trust Fund Establishment Amendment Bill 2025, citing legal and financial concerns. In a letter to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, Tinubu said the bill, though well-intentioned, contains provisions that conflict with existing federal laws and government policies. He flagged issues with the proposed funding system, taxation of federal entities, public service remuneration, and age and service limit, warning that signing the bill in its current form could set a problematic legal precedent. President Bola Tinubu has inaugurated a major road upgrade in the Federal Capital Territory. The President, in company of the Deputy Senate President, Senator Jibril Barrow, APC National Leader Abdullahi Ganduje, and other dignitaries, commissioned the newly completed 30.4-kilometer stretch linking the A3 junction to Pai Town through the Gomani, part of the border A2 Pai Gomani corridor in Kwali Area Council. Our correspondent Godwin Sunday has the rest of the story.
In a ceremony marked by ribbon-cutting fanfare, President Tinubu unveiled this vital route design to boost connectivity between satellite towns and the city center. The project, spanning from A2 Junction to Pai to Gomani, will significantly reduce travel times and stimulate economic activities in this agrarian region. Excited residents and farmers in Pai and neighboring communities are already experiencing the benefit of this development: easier access for produce to market, improved school-run conditions, and enhanced commuter safety. President Bola Tinubu thanked the Minister of the FCT and emphasized the need for farmers to seize the opportunity within Kwali Area Council.
The road, the infrastructural development means nothing if you don't develop it for the benefit of our people. Indeed, this progress will continue to elevate our lives if this administration will continue to prioritize infrastructure in all zones. Particularly, his Wiki and his team, you are doing a good job for the underserved rural areas.
Speaking at the event, the FCT Minister, Barrister Nyesom Wike, called on residents of Pai and its environs to support the President in achieving more for the country.
With the kind of support you've given to us to achieve all this result, you see, you can give somebody an appointment and he does not have support. The person cannot do anything. But when you have given somebody an appointment and you give him that support to actualize his job, that's always happiness. And for us, we are very, very happy.
The A2 Pai Gomani corridor, including the A2 Pai Junction section, stretches approximately 30.4 kilometers. Contracted to Zabesed construction, the project highlights the FCT administration focus on competence and follow-through. Godwin Sunday, reporting for Global Television News. In a ceremony
the Vice President of Brazil, Geraldo Alckmin, and his wife, Maria Alckmin, arrived in Nigeria for the commencement of the second session of the Nigeria-Brazil Strategic Dialogue Mechanism. On arrival at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, the delegation was received by the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Senator Ibrahim Hadijai, and Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole. Other government officials that received the delegation are the Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Maiha, Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, among others. The Academic Staff Union of University, Reverend Father Moses Osho Adashu University, Makurdi, Benue State, has called for immediate humanitarian support and implementation of effective resettlement programs to aid the safe return of the displaced persons from all communities attacked by suspected armed herders in the state. This is contained in a statement issued by Ali Suleako and Daniel Chile, the union's chairperson and secretary respectively, and made available to journalists. The union condemned the recent attack on the people of Yelwata in Guma local government area of the state. Moving on, the federal government has assured citizens, residents, and visitors of Abuja's safety, addressing concerns raised by a recent U.S. Embassy security advisory restricting non-official travel by its staff and families to the military and government facility within the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, acknowledged the advisory in a statement yesterday, but emphasized that Abuja remains safe. Idris highlighted the proactive measures undertaken by Nigeria's security agencies to ensure the safety of the FCT. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, Bauchi State Office, has announced plans to inaugurate an intensive media campaign aimed at raising awareness among users and sellers of agricultural chemicals. The state coordinator of NAFDAC in Bauchi, Hamis Yahaya, disclosed this in an interview. He said the campaign has become imperative with the onset of the rainy season. According to him, the campaign is designed to educate marketers on the importance of procuring genuine and quality products. The Senate has announced a comprehensive two-day zonal public hearing on the proposed amendment of the 1999 Constitution to be held simultaneously across the country's 6 geopolitical zones. The hearing, which will take place on July 4th and 5th, 2025, are being organized by the Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution, chaired by Jibril Barrow, the Deputy President of the Senate. In a statement signed by Ismail Madusher, Special Advisor to Barrow on Media and Publicity, the hearings will be held in Lagos, Enugu, Ikotepene, Jos, Maiduguri, and Kano states. About 1.3 million people die from secondhand smoke every year. 79 countries have implemented comprehensive smoke-free laws according to a World Health Organization report on the Global Tobacco Epidemic 2025. The report released at the World Conference on Tobacco Control in Dublin warned that action is needed to maintain and accelerate progress in tobacco control as rising industry interference challenges tobacco policies and control efforts. The report focuses on 6 proven WHO-empowered tobacco control measures to reduce tobacco use, which claims over 7 million lives a year. An unspecified number of school infrastructures and staff quarters have reportedly been destroyed due to rainstorms in Funtua local government area of Katsina State. This is contained in a statement issued by the Public Relations Officer of the Ministry, Sani Danjuman Suleiman. The statement noted that the State Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Zainab Masawa, was saddened by the devastating damage caused by the rainstorm. You are watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returns, federal government revenue jumps 40% to 6.9 trillion naira in 4 months. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Many thanks for staying with us. Now we go to the business news. In business, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, says that the reform introduced by the Bola Tinubu administration have effectively dismantled the dollar black market and boosted the federal government's revenue to 6.9 trillion naira between January and April 2025. The figure represents a 40% increase compared to the 5.2 trillion naira recorded during the same time in 2024. Edun made this known in Abuja during the second quarter 2025 Citizens and Stakeholders Engagement Session on Fiscal Performance and Reform Outlook. He attributed the surge in revenue to the administration's liberalization of foreign exchange market, fiscal discipline, and the development of technology to block leakages across ministries, departments, and agencies. Federal government says it has prioritized strategic infrastructure development, energy transition, environmental sustainability, and inclusive economic growth. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary, Political and Economic Affairs, Gagare Nadungu, made this known at the state's Stakeholders Engagement on Africa Infrastructure and Climate Change Summit 2025 in Abuja. Ramsey Enoch Abo has the details.
As the world intensifies
Apologies, we'll bring you the report of that in our later bulletin. In the meantime, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, says the ministry is at its third phase to achieve a rapid growth in the economy for increased investment in Nigeria. The minister made this known at the 2025 second quarter Citizens and Stakeholders Engagement on the implementation of presidential priorities and ministerial deliverables meeting. Sharon Ajay completes the story.
The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, stated that while there's an increased gross domestic product growth of 3.4%, the industry is faced with the need to achieve 70% per annum, with the aim of pulling Nigerians out of poverty.
Real GDP growth is on the right trajectory, but at 3.4%, even 3.8% is not enough. That is not the aim, that's not the objective. And that's not the target of Mr. President. It is instead to achieve in the nearest future a GDP growth rate on a sustainable basis of somewhere near 7% per annum. And why that figure? That would be more than double population growth.
Speaking on the need for adequate funding for the small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, as well as entrepreneurs in order to boost the market economy, the minister emphasized on the need to achieve the efficiency in identifying and managing the federal revenues in the federal purse for the benefit of Nigerians.
Small and medium-scale businesses, entrepreneurs, service providers, manufacturers are the backbone of this market economy, and they have been provided grants, they have been provided low interest loans, many through BOI, as well as larger scale loans for the medium-sized enterprises.
He highlighted the working plans achieved by the industry in the oil and gas, health and power sectors, as well as NEL Fund. Sharon Ajay, reporting for Global TV News.
Qatar has officially reopened its airspace following a temporary closure triggered by an Iranian missile strike on the Al Udeid air base, which hosts the United States forces. In a statement posted on its verified X account, the Qatari General Civil Aviation Authority confirmed the resumption of normal air traffic operations. The missile strike was part of Iran's retaliation against United States attack on its nuclear facilities over the weekend, escalating regional tensions. The High Court of Justice, King Bench Division, London, has concluded hearings on the £55 million oil spill lawsuit against the Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria Limited. The case stemmed from two major oil spills that occurred in 2008 in the Bodo community, Gokana local government area of Rivers State, Nigeria. According to Lady, the London-based law firm representing the claimant of Bodo community suffered two spills involving nearly 500,000 barrels of oil from the Bomu Boni Transport Niger pipeline, operated by SPDC. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has accused the Nigeria Governors Forum and other interlopers of delaying the 85 billion naira contract for the construction of 774 healthcare centers across local government areas in Nigeria through their respective pending litigations. CBN Court document shows that about 584 healthcare centers have so far been constructed, while 190 remains outstanding due to what the Apex Bank describes as a series of litigations. The legal dispute arose from a contract in 2007 approved by the Federal Executive Council, FEC, at the time for the construction of comprehensive primary health care centers in each of the 774 local government and areas council in Nigeria. On the foreign scene, the United Nations condemned Israel's apparent weaponization of food in Gaza, a war crime, and urged Israel's military to stop shooting at people trying to get food. The U.S. and Israel-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation began food distribution operations in Gaza on May 26 after Israel completely cut off supplies in the occupied Palestinian territory for more than 2 months, sparking warnings and mass famine. The UN said in May that 100% of the population of the besieged territory were at the risk of famine. Still on the foreign scene, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has denied reports of a ceasefire agreement with Israel, stating that Tehran will only stop its retaliatory attacks if Israel ends what he described as illegal aggression. Posting on his verified X account, Araghchi refuted United States President Donald Trump's earlier claims that both countries had agreed to a truce to end the ongoing 12-day conflict. So far, Israel has not made any public statement regarding the ceasefire claims. Iran says that at least 610 civilians have been killed and more than 4,700 wounded in the Islamic Republic since the start of the war with Israel on June 13. Those killed in Israeli strikes included 13 children, the youngest of whom was 2 months old, the ministry said, as well as 5 doctors and rescue workers. The ministry also said 7 hospitals and 9 ambulances had been damaged in the Israelis' attack. Exiled Iranian opposition figure Reza Pahlavi, the son of the Shah ousted by the 1979 Islamic Revolution, has declared that Iran is at a crossroad and on the verge of collapse. Speaking at a press conference in Paris, he warned that if the West throws a regime of a lifeline, there will be more bloodshed and chaos, insisting that the regime will neither submit nor surrender after it has been humiliated. Uyi Abomifwebe reports. Now in sports, former Nigerian sprinter Olusoji Fasuba has launched a scathing attack on the hierarchy of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria following a statement put out by the nation's governing body in the wake of favor Ofili's purported switch to Turkey. Ofili's switch to the European country was made public on Sunday, just 3 months before the 2025 World Athletics Championship in Tokyo. The 22-year-old Ofili was said to have advised the Athletics Integrity Unit of her frustration with the AFN, noting that a switch of allegiance was not financially motivated. Still on sports, the 2025 WTT contender Lagos is set to attract some of the world's biggest talent table tennis stars when it serves off from July 22 to 26 in Nigeria's commercial capital. Organizers announced an increased prize pool of $100,000 from $75,000 alongside a star-studded lineup for the tournament. This year's edition will feature Japan's world number 9 Hina Hayata, reigning Africa champion Hana Gode of Egypt, and France's fast-rising Prithika Pavadi among the headlines named. And as we end the Global TV News Express, let us take a look at our top stories. We told you President Bola Tinubu has withheld his assent to the National Assembly Library Trust Fund Establishment Amendment Bill 2025, citing legal and financial concerns. In business, we told you the Federal